Hey, welcome back to my channel. Appreciate you stopping in. What we're doing is just kind of my opinion. I'm not going to do a review, like an in-depth review on box goggles and, dual screen goggles and all that. What I want to do is just kind of give you my impression on what I went through to go from a box goggle to a, two screen goggle such as the Fatsharks. What did I go through? What was the thought process? And I have the lighting kind of set up so that you can, see inside. I'm gonna put these up to the camera so you can kind of get an idea. I'm just gonna give you an impression of what it was like to go from a box goggle to the other goggle. And my biggest fear was losing that field of view, that immersive feeling and all that kind of stuff. So this is the first goggle. This is my first FPV experience, was through this goggle. Now I have set up here a Cadex 1200 TV line micro camera and a VTX that I despise, but I have it working now. And I'm just going to plug that in. So that's what we're looking through to see this. You can see I've done a battery mod to these goggles. When these goggles first came, the internal battery on these were like 15 minutes. So definitely had to do the battery mod. So when you look into these goggles, this is pretty much this is what you see. So pretty good, pretty good picture, pretty good display, but you're only about that big of a screen. So I noticed when I started flying, larger than Whoop quadcopters, that the speed, these just wouldn't work. So it was pretty soon after having these that I upgraded to these. And at the time, these were the bee's knees. I mean, these were what everybody was talking about. The immersive screen, the clear screen, all this stuff. The one thing I like about these, they do have an HDMI in. So at the point in time that I purchased these, I was doing a lot of simulator flying. So I was able to fly the simulator using these goggles. And get these plugged in, take a look. So you can see they have a huge field of view, the 70-degree field of view. And the picture's pretty clear, but I want you to notice that with the box goggle, this lens, the lens right here, is far away from that screen. This lens is magnifying that screen, and the issue is, as you magnify that screen, you lose detail. So as objects are further away in the distance, so up close you can see all these little details. Okay, you can see the props, you can see the motor wires, but when you're further out, that detail goes away. So with box goggles, you're talking about ghost branches. In the wintertime, you couldn't even see the branches. I mean, by the time at 80 mile an hour, you were on them before you knew it, and you were crashing. So I would just stay away from trees. I would stay away from the swing set, the chains and everything. And that was kind of a thing that I guess you could say is a negative. Now with these goggles, you notice this nose bridge comes up pretty far, and it is in your way. So like representing this would be my left eye, that would be my right eye, and then together, that's a pretty good representation of what I see in these goggles. A lot of guys have cut that out, but the issue I have with these, my nostrils are right about here, and when I would inhale, exhale, I would fog the screen up, and there's no way to defog the screen. So a lot of times I couldn't fly because in Ohio it's like cold and and wet, and so they fog up real easy. And when you're breathing in and out through here, so I'm doing a lot of mouth breathing while I'm flying around. There ain't a lot I could do about it. So that was another thing. I just, not to mention I'm 6'3". You can see that these are, massive to haul around, and I mean, don't get me wrong, these are really light. I mean, the antennas weigh almost as much as the goggles. These are really, really light with the battery on the back. But what would make me want to go, spend that money on goggles? Well, these are the goggles that I ended up going with. And there's numerous reasons why I'm making this video. I just want to explain. I had such a hard time kind of processing the fact that I'm going to go from a 70-degree field of view to a 37-degree field of view. But that's I don't know, I want to say it's kind of irrelevant because of the optics that are in these goggles. Okay? Now you can see I have a lens here, so that's I wear glasses, so this is an old pair of glasses I put through the bandsaw and put a grinder to them and fit them in there. So these are just my old eyeglasses. But when you're looking in that screen, I'm gonna try to do my best for you. But you can see the detail, the clarity. And that detail is also far away. So like before I start to fly, right here you can adjust your contrast and brightness. So when I get outside, I set my quad up, looking up at the trees. And you can set your contrast and brightness before you even start to fly, and you can see those branches, those chains. These goggles make me faster. I feel like I can fly faster because in these goggles, instead of like in the box goggles, my shoulders feel like they're 8 feet wide. With these, for whatever reason, the optics, the way they're set up, you feel smaller. You're only a 3-inch quadcopter, and you're not a 4 foot wide wing. I mean, it's just something about that. And then to be able to see that detail from a long distance away, you're going 80 mile an hour or something, you're not going to see those branches with the box goggles. I couldn't. With these, I'm able to see those branches, so I'm able to fly faster. So my adrenaline rush when I fly is more intense. My hands are shaking more when I get done flying than with the box goggles. For me, that's value. I appreciate that value. The other thing, I'm able to defog my lenses, so I can fly in all kinds of different weather. Cold and muggy, hot, humid. I store these in a cold place. I go outside, it's hot and muggy out, I turn the fan on, and they work great. I don't have any issues with fog. But I just wanted to express the field of view, being worried about the field of view. I really don't. I don't think you're going to miss it. I sure don't. In the box goggles, I would put my OSD information. I would squish it on. With these goggles, I can have that OSD information all the way around the outer edge. I no longer have it like right in my view, because with these you don't have to look so far to the left or to the right. The other thing I just want to show you, with box goggles I didn't notice, but with these type of goggles you can kind of see that dark edge on the so it's, if you imagine yourself in the movie theater with those box goggles, you're sitting in the front row, okay? With these, you're sitting in the middle or just a little bit up from the middle. So there's kind of a shadow box. So, the screen's not right up on your eye, the screen's further back. But the field of view, I know that it's like 37-degree field of view. How can that be? You're losing, 30 degrees. it doesn't feel like it. The screens in these are bigger than you think, bigger than you can imagine. Now, obviously, this is a terrible way for me to say, here, look in here, now see. What I did is I went on the MultiGP website. I found my local, Central Ohio. There's a group called Buckeye FPV. The guys get together and they race. I found out when they were going to, where and when. I met up with them, and they were gracious enough to let me put their goggles on. During a race, I spectated somebody else's FPV feed. I was able to put my eyes in all kinds of different goggles. So I was able to get an idea what it would look like, and I was really surprised. The box goggles having that huge immersive feeling. I would run 4 battery packs, and I would, kind of take a break. The box goggles seem to kind of strain my eyes a little bit. I can run 10, 12 packs through these, and I'm hopeful that the charger can hurry up and get more on the table. I don't have any of those issues with the eyes strain or anything like that. Being able to see the detail farther away allows me to go much faster. My OSD information is readily available. There's just a lot of benefits to go with a goggle like this. Now, you don't have to go with the HDOs. I opted to go with them because I just couldn't understand why I'm going to buy a brand new goggle and have to mod them to run these power-hungry modules, which I'm actually really happy about this module. The way it merges the 2 feeds together to get a good picture, I do enjoy that. But if you have any questions on you have any concerns about going from your box goggle to this style of goggle, the number one suggestion I can make is to, find a local club that flies with these goggles and see if they will be nice enough. I just want to make a big shout out to Buckeye FPV guys and tell them how much I appreciated that. And hopefully you can find a local club that'll let you look through their goggles. And that's just the best way I can describe. But I just want to lay it to rest that if you're worried about losing field of view, don't. The field of view in this compared to this, my brain doesn't really interpret it as that big of a move. If you have any comments, questions about going from box goggles to dual screen goggles, I'll try my best to answer that. And I hope that this was, useful, and I appreciate your time.